Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 276.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and X.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way, every single time it's Monday, you'll be alerted to it. Joe, I have been noticing that we have been having a lot of new people joining the Two Crazy Ketos family group, the Mighty Networks group, and I just want to extend a great big welcome to all of you. Let us know in the chat and in the comment section if you're watching this after the live, if you have been keto for less than 6 months, we'd love to hear about it because we really want to celebrate you making this exciting decision for this way of eating.
That's a good idea.
Right? I just want to know, like, who's our newbie so that we can welcome you properly.
So if you are new here, welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. Keto Beyond the Couch is a show that we do every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Most of the time it's live unless we're traveling where we pre-record it. And we basically like to celebrate our subscribers. We like to go through our social media, mostly Mighty Networks, but we also have a Facebook group, as well as look at the comments from the previous week's videos, and we pull out success stories and answer questions and comments. Now, the way we do this is we're going to kind of go over everything that we've pre-prepared, and then like the last 10 or 15 minutes, we'll address the chat. So if you have a question, hold that off to the end. If you're in the chat, feel free to chat amongst yourself. Sometimes I'll grab one and we'll talk about it at some point. But if you want to talk about something right away, maybe it's a topic that we're talking about, use that super chat function down below. That's a little $ in the chat window. That does help benefit the channel, but what it really does is it highlights our screen so that we don't miss it, because since we're going to have a whole chat going and we're only going to address chat for like 10 or 15 minutes, we obviously miss things.
Right.
We also go live on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is a more laid back, just hang out and have fun with our community. Now, as far as the topic today, it's relating to one of the comments that we'll be talking about later on. But there was one that just popped up to my mind because the question is, do you need to eat organ meats on keto? And of course, our friend Jonathan Shane said, yes, you do.
And raw.
You need to eat raw kidney. And Jonathan, you can have my share.
Right, exactly. Oh my gracious, that's so funny. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it later on.
Yeah, we don't want to get too much into it. Otherwise, nobody will watch it.
Meat. That is a hot topic.
I don't like organ meat.
I think we all understand, like, it's funny, you know, we collect information, we collect knowledge sometimes as if it was just a hobby. Like I collect stamps or I collect stickers or something. And it's interesting. What do we do with that information? Do we just collect it and be like, I know I need to do that thing, but I'm not going to move forward with it, right?
Yeah. Now, I'm not a big fan of the taste of organ meat, although, like, I can tell you just a little preview, you know, going through Keto Savage's new system, I mean, he talks heavily about organ meat, and we are doing some experimentation because I don't like the taste of it.
Right.
There's different things you can do, but one of the things we're experimenting with is freeze drying it, and then we're going to make capsules.
And then we know the source.
And then I know the source of the liver or the source of the kidney or whatever.
And we're going to be showing you.
There's not a bunch of junk inside of the capsule.
How to do that thing, because it doesn't have to be expensive.
Well,
however,
you have to own a freeze dryer.
You do. That's the initial cost. But I feel like we continue to show the value of these tools that we've purchased and have in our, you know, home. And because you look at some of the pills where you're not sure what the source of liver is or other things, and you think, I wonder, am I getting what I'm paying for? Because they're not cheap.
There's also a lot of filler ingredients in that stuff.
Right.
So anyway, let's jump right into Keto Beyond the Couch so that we can get to the chat later on. So again, hold off your questions or use the super chat function. We are going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. We also have an announcement after the first break.
Yes.
But the first one we have is from Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
And Cindy said, I saw this and I wanted to share it. It says, positivity pledge. I shall no longer allow negative thoughts or feelings to drain me of my energy. Instead, I shall focus on all of the good that is in my life. I will think it, feel it, and speak it. By doing so, I will send out vibes of positive energy into the world and shall be grateful for all the wonderful things it will attract in my life.
I love that so much. You know, as we're saying that we collect knowledge, but what do we do with that knowledge? I think that there's been enough knowledge that we've collected that positivity is an important thing, really a vital thing for your life, certainly for your health journey. If you're trying to do something new, if you're trying to eat a new way, if you're trying to incorporate exercise, this is a hard thing to do. And you're going to need positivity for yourself, because I'm telling you, there was decades I talked myself out of better health, right? So this pledge that Cindy is talking about here and sharing is like you deciding to build a fence line. I am going to build a fence line where we're no longer just wandering in and out of positivity as if I'm not sure that I think that this is important. Like, it takes work to build a fence. If you've ever built a fence before, you know, you have to put some deep stakes in the ground. You have to, it's a hard work to build a fence. But once you've built it, you're able to contain and protect what is valuable to you. If you believe truly that positivity is valuable to you, then you've got to build that fence. You have to determine, I am not going to let this be just wander in and out negativity. You've got to build a fence around it.
Now, we do have to say a little congratulations to Cindy.
Yes.
Who just became a great grandma.
Oh my gracious. We are so excited for you, Cindy. And I feel excited for that great grandbaby, because I know that Cindy has put the hard work into her own health and wellness, which means that great grandbaby is going to have the precious opportunity to know her, to learn from her, to gain wisdom and life experience, and to know the history of their family from her. And I think that sometimes we don't take a moment to think how amazing it is as new babies are born into the world, that access to the rest, that extended family is really a precious gift.
First subscriber of the week is Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Stacy said a total of 420 pounds gone. But the gains in health, the happiness, the friendships, and the life experiences cannot be counted. We're grateful for the ketogenic lifestyle. 3 years since we met, I had been on keto for about 6 weeks when I explained it to him. He thought I was crazy. However, I have lost 100 pounds and Ken has lost 35 pounds.
Wow.
We have also lost many medications and diagnoses. We have gained so much with our health and our new community. Look at these two.
Oh my gracious. And I'm going to tell you, Ken and Stacy, if you have an opportunity to go to a meetup where they attend, it is such a blessing to your life. They are very just upbeat, passionate, positive people who can show you how to build that fence of positivity.
That's right.
Just really a precious couple.
Next one we have is from Teresa.
Teresa Ann
says, earlier this week, the Girl scrub pants were falling off, and today I am down another jean size. Sometimes results don't show on the scale. Amen. Other non-scale victories, I can walk longer distances on cement now. The knees don't cut my walk short.
Wow.
I am looking forward to bucket trip European river cruise in a few months. Wow. And I know there will be a lot of walking. I feel so much more confident that I will be able to keep up with the rest of the group. Increased activity is the best reward ever.
Oh, Teresa, I am so excited for you when we hear people saying, I am checking something off my bucket list. That makes my heart rejoice. That's what I want for you. Sometimes I feel like we can be kind of strict of like, I want you to stay eating right. Like, I want you to keep moving your body. And it's not that I'm trying to be a meanie. It is that I want you to experience what Teresa is getting to experience. And you think about not just the opportunity to go on a trip, but if you've ever been, had mobility issues or been overweight, you start to think as that trip approaches, oh no, am I going to be somebody that holds the group back? You know, you stop focusing on looking and enjoying everything around you and start worrying that you just, like, your focus is, can I keep up with a group? So knowing that she's got what it takes to walk on that cement, like, or cement, however you pronounce it.
That'll come up later. Don't worry.
That's important, right? I mean, when we did the scavenger hunt on RV Unplugged in the most recent episode, last week's episode, that really was a victory. It wasn't just winning the scavenger hunt. Like, that was awesome. But
yeah, we got nothing out of that.
But the fact that you could be on that hard pavement for so long, and that was just the beginning of your day. That wasn't the totality of your day.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with some more.
I am so excited for this week, Joe.
I am too. But we'll talk about that in a little while.
Well, you said after the first break.
We'll come after the next break.
Okay.
It's too early. We gotta string them along a little bit.
Oh my goodness, I'm not good at that.
First comment we have is from Tony.
Hey, Tony.
So I'm looking at starting to look at excursions, but they are still showing Labadee. I know that we've been to Jamaica before and we've done tubing down the river. Lots of fun. So Tony's referring to the 2KK Getaway Cruise, which is December 8th through the 15th. There is a link down below. We still have a few cabins left. Final payment date is September or something like, I think it's September 8th.
We gonna have some fun, y'all.
And we're super excited. I've been in contact with Royal Caribbean about getting a room for a lot of the time. And there's no conferences, but we're going to have a room where we can kind of hang out, maybe even play some games. I'm looking at maybe paying one of their DJs to come in and do like almost like MC Akeem kind of thing.
Wouldn't that be fun?
It would be kind of cool. So, but we're super excited about the 2KK Getaway Cruise. We're also working on a special guest who will not be a speaker, but will be coming to hang out with us. And so one of the port stops is Labadee, which is an amazing port stop.
Truly.
But unfortunately, because of all the unrest that's going on in Haiti, they're currently not traveling there. And I've talked to my contacts at Royal Caribbean, and they said most likely we will not be going back to Labadee this year, but they will just change it to something else.
But we don't know
where yet.
What that will be.
That probably will not come through of what they're doing until probably September.
That's unfortunate.
September, October, because again, they're trying to, it's just like anything else. They're trying to wait to the last minute. The way they've been going is about 6 to 8 weeks before is where they make the next set of cancellations.
The good news is that between that time and when we've actually set sail, there will be a Black Friday sale on excursions, guaranteed. Yes. So at least we know that before we set sail, when we get that kind of last minute information, you will probably have a sale in between there so that you can get a better price. There's definitely a Black
Friday sale, and it's usually huge. Now, I will say, if you're going on the 2KK cruise, or if you're going on the Low Carb Cruise 2025 to Alaska, or any other cruise, especially on Royal Caribbean, if you want to, I know this is a keto channel, but we're talking about it. If you want to go on an excursion, buy a drink package, go buy it right now. Right now, no matter what the cost is, buy it right now, because sometimes the price goes up.
Yeah.
So you want to get it now. The cool thing with Royal Caribbean, you have up to 4 days prior to sailing to cancel it.
Yeah, with no penalty.
And reprice it. So the only downside of doing it is, so let's say you go book, a Wi-Fi package right now, and it's $25 a day. And then Black Friday, it's like last year we got everything at 50% off. Black Friday, let's say it's $15 a day. You have to return the old one, and then buy the new one. So that old one returning becomes a credit on your credit card, which could take a week to apply. So for about a week, you're out double money. But they do return the money. So it's something to look at. Also, if you're getting Wi-Fi and going on a cruise, buy one person, multiple devices. You'll save like 40%. But yeah, so don't worry about Labadee. They'll find something. Next one is from Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
Andrew said, even though the days are getting shorter, there are so many ways to live life beyond the couch today.
That's true.
Whether it's running a 5K, taking a plunge into the Bering Sea, a polar plunge, or committing armed robbery at Wells Fargo.
Oh, Andrew. Well, okay, 2 out of 3 ain't bad is what I'm going to say. So like, yes, live life beyond the couch, but legally would be my advice.
We were thinking of Andrew the other day when we saw a stripped out pontoon boat.
Yes.
It was like they took the whole top off, but the pontoons were still there on the bottom frame. And I'm like, ooh,
Andrew
we
could
could
make a
bring
barge
that to
out of that.
Alaska and make a gold dredging barge out of that, because that's what Andrew does. So
Yeah.
I was like, we were just thinking about him. And we may have some stuff going on over the next few months that will really lead us to living life beyond the couch.
Certainly.
Are you
and
ready
truly.
for that?
Yes, I am.
It'll be a lot,
Yep.
but we'll be living life beyond the couch.
Lord help us.
Next one is from James.
Hey, James.
James said, some of you know me personally and for a long time. I'm known for my logical, analytical ways, but this Vulcan has a wild emotional half.
How cute.
I have a question for the tribe. Mental illness. Yes, I'm classifying myself into the box for now. Shouldn't our lifestyle be a deterrent and combat such things? I'm at an utter loss and beyond myself. I'm a hot mess and I'm tired of crying. So yes.
I love you, James.
Keto can help with mental illness. I'm not
living
saying
proof
it's
of that.
going to cure it, but it can help it. There's a lot of documentation, a lot of studies that are showing it. Check out Dr. Chris Palmer's book on brain energy. Rachel is a person who it has really helped with her anxiety. I mean, she attempted suicide twice.
Well, but what you need to do, as in anything, once you have gotten your nutrition right, you feel clear enough in your mind to know that there are other things that could also benefit you. For me, I have learned that exercise and movement does help with anxiety. It's not like if someone just says, hey, keto just handles everything and it's just like, it's a plug and play. It's not. You still have to handle other areas of your life. And that may include talking to somebody. I am not opposed to therapy. I am not opposed to like reaching out for help in other areas. Once I can be trusted with organizing my life and planning for my life and scheduling, and I can start to do more things for myself because I am confident in my mental wellness, I do have to begin to learn how to do that thing, how to begin planning things, scheduling things, organizing things where it's like somebody else isn't having to like kind of protect me or govern my life or plan things for me, and I just show up because that's all I could do in the past. I can start planning for myself, but I have to work on that. And that's like, there's a lot of new skill sets that I have to learn once I am awake and present enough in my mental health journey to be able to do that. But it's really, I think that lifting of the fog that keto and nutrition has provided makes me aware, okay, I can do more things, but then I have to begin, okay, what's my next step?
Yeah. Now, as far as your eating, if you're looking to work on mental health and brain issues, you're going to need to be in a deeper state of ketogenesis.
Yeah.
Not like just do keto. You really need to be doing a stricter form of keto, keeping your carbohydrates very low, like under 10 total carbs, maybe even under 5 total carbs, and trying to maintain a blood ketone level of somewhere between like 2 and 3.5. You don't want to have really ridiculous high numbers because as was discussed on the low carb cruise, and a lot of those talks have been put up. I don't know if they're available for everybody, for the people who were on the low carb cruise. Our talk will be going up probably later this week. I got to finish editing it. But something that was discussed was mice, and that mice in themselves are naturally very anxious. And so they were putting
They're
mice
prey animal
up on like a wheel, and it couldn't balance itself. So it would just keep being anxious, struggling to stay on this thing and not fall off. And when they gave it ketones, the miles would lose its anxiety. It would be like, oh, I can just jump right down and I'm completely fine. But when they elevated the ketones too high, it got anxious again.
Yeah.
So it's finding that level of ketones, but it's not going to be that blood ketone level of 0.5. You're going to have to maintain much higher levels of ketones, looking more towards where keto was originally developed,
therapeutic
which
level.
Was, for children with epilepsy and trying to eat probably like a 90% fat diet. And that's going to be a change because it really does mean eliminating a lot of things like sugar, alcohols, and things like that. But it comes down to what is the most important. But you have to really maintain those more therapeutic levels of ketones. And the only way to do that is to really change the types of food you're eating and also eating a very, very low carbohydrate diet or starve yourself to death, which that would not help.
We don't want to do that.
Next one is from JJ.
Hey, JJ.
JJ said, over the past 3 years, I've learned that setbacks aren't the end of the world. Learn from them and move forward instead of focusing on the past.
Here's the thing. We're alive, right? You're living. You might as well enjoy it. I think that I had this wrong belief system for a really long time where it's like, I will push off, I will press pause on actually enjoying my life until I see something that I like happening. Until I get this certain result, then I will begin to enjoy my life. And I can tell you, as somebody who would reach a goal and still be sad and be frustrated, why? Why am I still sad and frustrated? I reached that goal. You have to decide now, this is the person that I'm going to be. A lot of people will say things that if I win the lottery, then I will become a generous person. No, you won't. You will decide to be a generous person. You will begin being generous with what you have right now, and that will just scale up. And it's the same thing for enjoying your life. I will enjoy my life right now and see what is there to notice that is good going on in my life. And as more things are added to my life that's good, I will continue to enjoy my life. But I think it's really important to decide, I am going to enjoy things and I'm going to notice the good. If you're like, man, I will only enjoy my life if setbacks don't happen, then basically you're saying, I choose never to enjoy my life because setbacks, like JJ is saying, are going to happen.
Yep. Next one is from Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Aaron said, not a scale victory, but I am 2 weeks into not having soda.
Woohoo!
My eyes opened when I looked at my bank statement. In the month prior to the last 2 weeks, I was opening over $150 a month in 20-ounce diet sodas. I don't have cravings for it, and I'm sure I will drink it again, but it is great knowing it is not my crutch, or not a crutch. My heavy whipping cream and coffee have increases some, but that is better than diet.
Wow. This is a very important moment. If you're like, gosh, I would like a win today. You need to take a look. Sometimes you could even leverage going to the grocery store or going to the drugstore and seeing what are things that I used to buy, but I have eliminated now. And so making the decision that okay, I'm going to stop Diet Coke, that's a win. If you're like, I have this many days that I have not had a Diet Coke, that's a victory in itself.
Right.
But I love that Aaron has tapped into the finances of this because $150 a month, that's literally no nutrition coming into your body from Diet Coke. You're absolutely just peeing out this thing. What could you do with $150 every single month that's better than that?
Yeah, I mean, I used to say that about cigarettes, right? $10 a pack. 30 days, if you did a pack a day, that's $300. I mean,
That's
and we
lot.
notice that even with coffee. People say a lot of times keto's expensive because you have to eat meat. But what are you not buying? We used to spend $6 a day each on Starbucks.
Yeah.
Which we don't do anymore.
And that is a lot of money.
So that's $12 a day multiply by 30 days or 31 days, you're looking at $320 a month that we save just there. That goes into our beef budget. Bags of potato chips, $4 or $5.
Oreo cookies, $4 or $5 a package.
When all of a sudden you're not buying that stuff, you start going, oh wait, keto's not that expensive. I'm just shifting. We find a place to put the money. Like when we want something, we find a way to do it. Like it's amazing what we're willing to give up. I've had the conversation with my kids. They're like, I can't afford it. I'm like, didn't you go out to eat last night? But it's what are our priorities?
Cynthia is right. She noticed that the price of soda is getting
it's gotten
expensive.
Ridiculous. That's why even when I am drinking soda, the only two ways I get soda, and I'm really being good, except for when we were in the car the other day, is at a fountain, and that's why I kind of limit it to it when I'm on the road or on a cruise. On a cruise, I'm like Jonathan, obscene amount of soda. But because it's like $1 something to refill my Stanley cup at Wawa. So I'll do it that way. Or we do the Soda Stream, and I like the Soda Stream because I can have seltzer water, and then I buy the Pepsi Zero or the Mountain Dew Zero fill up, but I only use a third of what they tell you to use. So now I'm not getting as much soda stuff.
Developing a taste for less intense soda as it is.
A regular full soda for me is like way too sweet, way too strong. That's and then when I go on the cruise, it's obscene. But
yeah, it's interesting.
But that's because 12 packs here. You used to get 3 12 packs for $5. Now they're like $8 for one.
Some people I hear a lot where they're just kind of like observing and saying, the cost of meat is so expensive. The cost of meat is so expensive. And they're almost using that as a deterrent to stay keto because it's just oh my gosh, it's I'm just noticing that. The problem is that's all you're noticing. If you will expand your view of that grocery store and see what you're not buying anymore, you'll notice that all of the groceries are going up in price. It's just that you're not utilizing those groceries and you're noticing, hey, this hamburger that I bought, 2 months ago at this price is now at this price. But if you go back and look at how much was the over-counter medicine that you don't buy anymore, how much is it for a bottle of NyQuil now? Or how much is it
$10
for a bottle of Excedrin that I don't use anymore, but I used to use regularly? You're going to find that all of the things have gone up.
Let's not forget
price.
the reduced doctor copays and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And then time.
It's just that's all you're looking at.
Right. Next one we have is from Angela.
Hey, Angela.
Help, my blood work, 10 months, strictly carnivore. My A1C is up from 5.6 to 6.0, fasting insulin up from 5.1 to 7. Why? There could be a couple of things going on. Now, remember, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. We're just two idiots who put themselves on YouTube, and everything we talk about is based on our own personal experience, what we've learned becoming health coaches, as well as talking to people who are doctors, nurses, and health professionals, and a lot of research we've done. Dr. Barry has talked about this. Actually, several people have talked about the chance that there's a good chance that red blood cells live longer when you're eating a mostly carnivore diet, which would show up as an increased A1C. In my opinion, A1C is an antiquated test. I know that it's still something that is used, but it's an antiquated test because now we have CGMs and we can see what is going on with your glucose the entire time. So something I would consider is getting your hands on a CGM for a few weeks and seeing what's going on with your glucose. You also have to look at stress and other things. But something else that tends to happen with carnivores, and I have an unpopular opinion on carnivore. I'm not saying it's not healthy to be a carnivore. I'm saying that there is no civilization that has ever existed that is 100% carnivore. So I love Dr. Barry.
Yeah.
But it's not really, carnivore itself is not really the true proper human diet if no human civilization has ever only eaten carnivore. Mostly carnivore, yes. And I absolutely agree with that. You look like Inuits and Eskimos and American Indians. You ate mostly meat, but then when you came across fruits, vegetables, and berries, you ate them.
Right.
But we're opportunistic eaters, okay? So when you look at that, one of the things is when you're eating an only carnivore diet, especially when you're becoming carnivore and you're trying to lose weight and you're afraid of fat, something that happens a lot of times with carnivores is they end up eating a very high protein to lower fat ratio.
Yes.
And if you are doing that, especially for an extended period of time, what ends up happening is if you're not giving yourself enough fat, your body thinks it's starving because it's got this protein, but it's not really efficient at using protein for fuel. It's efficient at using protein for building blocks and amino acids and things like that. So if you're eating a lot of protein but not a lot of fat, like eating high protein, low fat diet and no carbs, what ends up happening is your body starts taking that protein and converting it to glucose for fuel because it's like, I don't have enough fuel in the fat. Even if you have stored body fat, it just doesn't quite work that way. And so what ends up happening if the protein is becoming glucose, you end up with that higher glucose reading. I would, if you're eating carnivore and you're having this, get yourself on a CGM for a little while, eat a week that way, see where it is. And then the next week, add a bunch more fat. Change up the amount you're eating and intentionally eat more fat. Eat butter, tallow, different types of animal fats with every single meal. Put some beef tallow right on your plate and eat it. It's actually, if it's not rendered, it's called beef suet. You can get chunks of suet and just eat the suet.
It's actually really delicious.
And see what happens there. You should be eating at least 50% of your calories should be coming from fat. So that's something to look at.
It's interesting, we want to eat the way we used to eat, go back, dial it back in time to the way people would used to eat. You have to think that you couldn't control all the variables the way that we do now. You decide hey, I'm going to eat the way they used to eat. And you're just eating what I want to go and eat at the grocery store. You're not thinking that if you were a hunter, you would eat whatever it is that came in your path that day. So maybe it was a deer, maybe it was a rabbit, maybe it was a squirrel, maybe it was bison, maybe it's fish. We decide based on what we want to eat and the ratio that we want to eat. But that is not authentic to the way you would have eaten years ago. You ate what you got and you couldn't control what it is. I only eat, beef and salt, because you couldn't guarantee that's what you'd catch.
And when you ate that animal that you came across, you ate the whole animal.
Right.
Getting into the organ meat
Organs.
thing, you ate the whole animal, the kidney, the heart,
stomach,
the liver, the brains. You used all of it.
And you could come in contact with the vegetation that animal ate, right?
So that leads us to the next one from Laquetta, who said, I was just blessed with 15 beef and 15 pig hearts. Last time I made flour with it. What to do this time? And I think she knows what she was doing, but she was kind of putting out, what should I do this time, right? I do not like the taste of organ meat. Mm-hmm. Okay, so first of all, do we need to eat organ meat on keto? Unpopular opinion, even with me and Rachel, you should be.
Yeah. You
should be eating organ meat. How much organ meat do you need? Now, I saw this thing from Drax.
Hey, Drax.
Before the show started. It said, looking forward to this, large amounts of liver can be toxic, though most carnivore doctors say it's not necessary to eat a small amount once a week isn't a bad thing. I think that, first of all, we should be, even though I don't like it, I think we should be eating organ meat.
You can't just say, I observe that I do not like this thing, and that's where I leave it.
And respectfully, carnivore doctors, if there's carnivore doctors saying you do not need it or don't really need to eat organ meat, especially if you're a carnivore, I disagree with them. From all of the research, especially if you're only eating meat, there is no better superfood in the world than organ meat.
Yeah.
that organ meats are a superfood. If you go back to our chart, which I don't think I have stored in the system, but if you go back to our chart of what you can get, people talk about how you need to eat plants for vitamins and nutrients. The amount of nutrients in beef liver is insane. So organ meats are superfoods, and we should be eating them. How much? How much cow do you eat in a year? So let's say over the entire course of a year
to eat a complete cow.
A complete cow. Then you should be eating at least a full liver from a cow once a year.
There you go.
Over the whole course of the year.
Over the course of the year, you are whittling down that cow. Now, what we do is, like I see Sean noting, when we get a cow, we ask the farmer, or we ask the butcher rather, to put all of the organ meat into the ground beef, because you're going to get a great big mess of ground beef. And that is a simple way to hide it, because you are, over the course of all of that meat, you are not going to taste the liver and the organs like you would if you were just eating them on their own.
Yeah. I was just looking to see if I could find this one, but I don't see. No, that's
okay.
Not it. Anyway, I was just I'll just put it up and read it here, because we've talked about this before. So just to give you an idea, 100 grams of beef liver has 2,200% of the RDA of vitamin A, 60% of vitamin B9, 2,000% of vitamin B12. So right in that, okay, there was another comment I answered today talking about vitamin B12.
Right.
And the fact that you have things like Celsius and pretty much any vitamin B supplement you get. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you go buy multivitamins in the stores, a lot of the injections when you go to these like IV fluid places, all of the vitamin B12s are generally a synthetic. And their concern is cyanide. We had a whole big rant. Go check out Keto Beyond the Couch from a couple weeks ago about that. You want vitamin B12? 100 grams of beef liver contains 2,000% of the RDA of vitamin B12.
Well, and if you look up what are women over the age of 50 usually depleted in, they're going to tell you B9, B12. They're going to be two of the things that are at the top of the list. So if you're like, hey, I'm a woman over the age of 50, I am worried about my hormonal health, like what is going on? I would consider incorporating liver into your life, because you need that B9, you need that B12. Like you already know you're deficient in it.
Right. So we should be eating organ meat. That's how much we should be eating. If you don't like the taste of it like I do, mixing it in ground beef is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Just get it, mix it all into ground beef. You won't taste it. Mixing it with bacon. Like you take some hamburger meat, bacon, some liver, some heart, whatever, put it in there. And if you just don't even want to do it that way, get desiccated organ pills. You can get liver pills, you can get kidney pills. Like I said, we're working on making our own. I'm just trying to amass enough organ meat so that I can run my freeze dryer, because you have to run it for 36 hours. But you definitely should be eating organ meat. It's just, there's too many health benefits to not eat it. Next one is from Nicoletta.
Hey, Nicoletta.
Has anyone gotten dizzy periodically? I'm having issues with dizzy spells about one time a week. I use my Salty daily. Was thinking it may not be enough of some vitamin or mineral hitting my macros. Again, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but it's most likely an electrolyte imbalance. If you're only doing, I don't know how much you're salting your food, but one salty probably isn't enough. We really need to be consuming about 4,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium a day, especially on keto. And you'll find that the more sodium you consume, the better you feel. And a lot of times your blood pressure actually goes down. I highly recommend the book, The Salt Fix. It's a great book. It really explains it. But I know that this is something that I personally experienced. And like as soon as I would increase sodium and also potassium, my headaches would go away, dizziness would go away. I would get like heart palpitations, and that's how I know when my electrolytes are low.
Yeah.
So that's something
It's
I would
not a
look
fun
at.
way to determine if you're low, but it is an effective way to determine if you're low.
Next one's from Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Is there a possibility you guys can post an eat in a week vlog now that you have found your groove? I don't want to copy your choices, but I do think it would be valuable to see your tweaks implemented. Thank you for all you share. You are changing lives in a beautiful, positive way.
Thanks, Christine.
So we do have a lot of videos on full day of eatings. And we've got like a sort of full day of eating coming out, and then we also have what we ate on the cruise, which I'm editing today. Sorry, we're behind on it. We can do a couple of more. We can do some more full day eatings. The reason we don't do as many is number one, time, but I feel like it's boring. Maybe let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. But for me, I feel it's boring to just. Here's what we ate, because then like a lot of times our days are boring.
Right.
You know, it's like we do a live stream, we eat, I sit at the computer, we eat, we go to sleep. You know, or I take a dive, or I go out with a dive client. I can't take a camera with me when I'm diving with a client. That's kind of like against, standards. So it would only be if we're going out together or if we're doing something interesting. So we kind of started going, we're not going to do a full day of eating unless we're doing something interesting, because who wants to just see us
going through
like
another
I can
life.
give you a 10-minute video where we go, here's what we ate, here's what we ate, here's what we ate. But I find it boring.
But we can do that if you think it would be helpful.
If it's what everybody wants, we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
The other thing is what we eat is boring. We're
We
boring.
need to be more interesting, Joe.
Like, we have these recipes, but I'm going to be honest. We make the recipes when I think of, like, I really want that for today, but we don't make it every day. And it's not that we don't make a recipe for a video. We make it because, hey, this would be kind of cool for me to have in my life. But we'll make it and then once in a blue moon. But 90% of our food is eggs and ground beef.
Right.
I mean, last night we ate 6 eggs and like some beef. That's what we ate. And like for breakfast, we eat eggs. Half the time we don't even make bacon, because if it's not cooked, I don't feel like making it. Because by the time I'm ready to eat, I don't want to wait for the bacon.
Yeah, but we would totally be willing to do that if you guys think it'd be helpful.
Let's take a quick fade to black.
We're back.
So speaking of, we did just do like a sort of full day of eating. It's over the course of 2 days. And we did a thing.
We have done a thing, and we need y'all to pray. Because we're waiting to hear back from that thing.
We spent like 3 days doing a thing.
Yes.
And we did vlog it.
Yes.
And we did show what we were eating on it.
I'm getting
or
heart
not eating on
palpitations.
some of it.
Yeah.
And we're super excited about it, because if this thing happens, it will, I think, completely change the trajectory of Two Crazy Ketos.
I'm tearing up thinking about it, but yeah.
Are you excited about it?
Yes, I am.
Are you really excited? Like
I
more
am.
excited than RV Unplugged? Yeah?
Yeah.
You're speechless. Rachel's speechless.
I am.
So what you'll need to do is you'll need to subscribe to our channel, and you'll need to hit the bell button, because we're not going to tell you what that thing is. First of all, until it's definitely a sure thing.
Yeah.
But we will hopefully know that later today. But then we will also let our meatheads know first.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So if you're not a meathead, our meatheads are our paid channel supporters who support us through Mighty Networks. And so Rachel goes in, does live streams there, and we do different things there. And we will do a special live stream letting them know what this thing is first. And then we'll release the video.
I will say, spoiler alert, I am not pregnant. Just to get that out of there. I am not pregnant.
No.
That is a good thing.
Although we can try to do that thing. It's not going to work.
Gracious me. Not without a miracle.
Okay, next one is from Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
The issue with the low-carb products is people believe net carbs is a real thing. They don't know or want to know that they shouldn't go by net carbs. They don't know that there's no research that shows net carbs works, even from vegetables. I have the issue with my brother, who is a diabetic. I tell him cut out the sweets and the carbs, and that will cure the diabetes. I wouldn't say cure, but I would say help him. His response is that he enjoys the sweets, the pasta, the potatoes, and at his age of 71, he's not willing to remove them from his life.
I think, first of all, sometimes, because this was definitely something that I faced with my own mom in her 70s, there is this wrong thought that if you are in your 70s, you're at like the end of your life expectancy.
I hope not with this thing that we're doing.
And you begin to wrongly believe and turn your wheels and start rolling in the direction of just embracing the twilight of your life. That does not have to be the case. That is a lie. Do not believe the lie that whatever age, even if nobody in your family has attained the age that you have attained, it does not have to be the beginning of the end for you. My mom has an absolute new lease on life.
Where's your mom today?
She is in Orlando, going to Universal Studios, riding on roller coasters with our youngest nephew. And she is more present, more adventurous, and more able to grandma on like a higher level now than she was 25 years ago.
I actually sometimes get upset with your mom with doing this.
Our nephews who are much younger, who are still in like, Elijah's going into 6th grade this year, coming year, they have a healthier
different grandma than our kids did.
Than our children
So Caleb
did.
is 23.
Yes.
And there's times, this is horrible, but there's times where I look and go, you know, it really sucks that she wasn't able to be the grandma for them.
Yeah, because...
But it's not her fault. But
No.
I'm excited that she gets to be that grandma for Jonathan and Elijah.
Yes.
And I'm excited that I watched this woman at 74. I don't even know. I lose track at this point.
She'll be 75 this year, yeah.
75. So
In
she's
July
74.
4th.
That's right. She's able to get down on the ground and play with Peyton.
Yes, she is.
And get
down,
up.
Yeah.
And get up.
Up and down on the ground, carry her kayak.
And when we are babysitting Peyton and have to do a live stream, she's watching her.
Well, and she's able to carry stuff, like do her own yard work, carry rocks. Like,
sometimes we have to stop her from doing it.
We do, because she has like 30-foot ceilings in her house, and like Caleb would stopped over there, and she's on like the biggest ladder there is.
She's like one of these people on a 20-foot tall ladder balancing a book on top of it with another box because the ladder's not tall enough.
Right. So that's a lie. First of all, that you need to be making plans for the end of your life if you're in your 70s. Please don't believe that. It's a lie. So,
I certified a 70-year-old woman.
But I understand what you're saying as far as like what you're doing. You're thinking to yourself, I just might as well make myself comfortable and eat what I want because I'm on my way out. Don't, because you want to stay in your addiction, start like feeding that lie.
Right.
Because that is undermining you a lot. And you know what is better than just getting the pasta you want? Living and feeling well and healthy in your body and getting to do the things that you want. That is a much tastier thing than pasta and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I think also we have, like, from all of these diets that's been on the market, like, Jenny Craig and like Weight Watchers, they have used our addiction to carbs to be able to establish these 0 point nonsense, as if you know in your common sense that, like, you can't just eat a food and nothing is happening.
Right.
But they've led you to use that.
Yeah, it's funny. We've kind of gone off of the intent of this post, but I think this was some good stuff. As far as net carbs, if you're new, I'm not trying to offend you, but please don't do net carbs.
Please don't do it.
Net carbs is a made-up thing by the food industry. And as he pointed out, there is no research. Now, as far as vegetables, listen, we do know there's different types of fiber and the way it passes through your body, and you have soluble and
But you can still count
fiber.
total carbs.
And I am not concerned about the fiber in vegetables. You can eat asparagus or celery. I don't know why you want to eat celery.
That's a hair vegetable.
And go to the bathroom the next day, and you will see that all of that fiber did not get digested.
Yeah.
It ran right out of you. So if you don't want to count the fiber in vegetables, have at it. It's not the vegetables that made us sick. Let's be honest.
No.
Eating a bunch of broccoli did not make us fat and insulin resistant. That was not the problem. But net carbs, this idea of deduct the fiber, deduct the sugar, alcohols, it was made up by the food industry. It actually comes from Atkins, which is kind of funny. But it's like, if you think about it, okay, I made this book, everybody's losing weight, everyone's getting, well, now what do I do? Like, everybody's just passing my book out. They're not even rebuying the book. What do? We make a bunch of products. Well, how do I get them to eat the products when I'm telling them don't eat processed food? Oh, this is net carbs. You don't have to count this. And when we got started on keto, it was very different than now. Because now you have more products and they've caught on to this game and everybody wants keto. And how do we make money off of keto? Well, let's say it's 2 net carbs. Let's say it's 1 net carb. And the thing is that some of the products are flat out lying. And they're also telling you fibers. As soon as you see fiber, or they can classify it as a fiber on the nutrition label, because people don't know, just like they don't know the 300 plus names for sugar, they think it's fine and I can deduct that fiber. But your body may be partially digesting. A great one is soluble corn fiber. There's like 30 different versions of soluble corn fiber, and many of them your body will use as fuel, which is why so many people end up with elevated glucose level eating a lot of the keto sweets that contain soluble corn fiber.
Right.
Because your body is using it. I was just looking at these when I was going to the store. I went to Publix to get something, and they had 0 net carb tortillas, buy one, get one free. And there was a part of me that wanted to bring them home and do a review video, but I don't want to beat that dead horse anymore. But I was just like, let me look. And I turned it over. The first ingredient was wheat starch. The second ingredient was wheat gluten. And it was 29 total carbs for 1 tortilla. And then they're telling you it's 0 net carbs. So please don't do that.
It's not personal. It's just business.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't think that at the heart of companies that they're like, I think I want to hurt people, but they're not seeing you as the individual. They're seeing you as a consumer. They're seeing you as a wallet.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to fall into just being somebody's wallet.
Yeah. Next one's from Kim.
Hey, Kim.
So if you have a constipation, MC2 oil might be a good solution.
In very small quantities. Things will happen.
Here's what I'm going to say is don't
Yes.
use MC2 oil to cure your constipation.
No.
Okay. MC2 oil does have some health benefits, but it can also hurt you. Like, it's an individual thing. Chris Bear did 100 days of keto chow, and one of the purposes of that was to see how do different fats act in his body. Because if you think about it, it was a brilliant way to test different fats, because literally the only thing that changed in his diet for 100 days was the fat source. The same amount of water, keto chow, everything was the same exact macros. The only thing that changed was the fat source. And what he discovered for him, the best fat was butter. Mm-hmm. And that with MCT oil, his triglycerides went up, his HDL went down, and his LDL went up. All 3 bad things. So it's an individual thing. If you have constipation on keto, first of all, make sure you have constipation, because a lot of people think I didn't go to the bathroom for a day or two is constipation.
You don't have a lot of waste
That's
anymore.
not constipation. Constipation is when you get into 3, 4, 5 days or longer, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Most of the time, your constipation is coming from a lack of salt and a lack of fat in your diet. So a lot of people get on keto. Again, we're afraid of fat because we've been taught fat is bad. And so now all of a sudden you're not eating any fat and you get stuffed up. And as soon as you consume a little bit of fat, it all flushes out. And if you, for me, we should go there today because we have coupons. I go to a Brazilian steakhouse.
Ooh, yeah, let's go there today.
And when I go to a Brazilian steakhouse, Rachel will tell you, Chris Bear, anybody who's ever been there with me, halfway through, I'm going to the bathroom.
Every time.
Every time.
Every single
And it's number 2.
time.
Because
I know.
Because I'm consuming fattier meat than I normally do in one sitting, and I also get the chimichurri sauce and with mostly fat and dip every piece of meat into that.
Yeah, it's like a slip and slide.
So it runs right through me. And then also salt. The number one way your body regulates salt is actually through poop. And so if you don't have enough salt, your body needs to maintain a certain level. It will hold on to it,
Yeah.
and water chases salt. And so what ends up happening is if you're not consuming enough salt, your body will hold on to it. If you consume too much salt, your body gets rid of it by flushing it. And by flushing it, I mean through diarrhea. So if you have constipation, increase fat, increase salt.
And there you go.
Next one's from Angela. Said, Joe, where are you getting the idea that there is 0.431 carbs per tablespoon in heavy cream? Okay. The serving information should say less than 1 carb at 0.862 per serving, right? Now, however, if I put an entire can in my carb app, which has always let me know if there are any inklings of carbs in anything, such as less than 1 carb in a packet of equal, it always says 74 servings, has 0 carbs in it. It's processed, so I know it's not ideal, but honestly, I don't have the time nor energy to make my own whipped cream. This is a good video. So, okay, number one, I'm not telling you not to buy cans of whipped cream. We should own stock in the purple can of Ready Whip.
Should.
Okay?
I have put those people's children through college.
I honestly think that the reason we can't ever find purple Ready Whip is because Rachel eats like a lot of it, and now everybody has followed suit, including our son.
There's not enough supply.
And it's kind of funny if you go into the refrigerator and Peyton is around. As soon as she hears the refrigerator open,
hears the ding
she goes,
of the
and
bottle.
she comes running from across the room. All heavy cream. I don't care what the label says. They're lying to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, some of them are intentionally lying to you, and some of them are lying to you because they legally have to lie to you.
Right.
Which sounds ridiculous.
But remember when Noosh got in trouble for trying to be more honest?
Yeah, like they cannot put exact. Keto Chow can't put exact. They can put it on the front where. So if you look on the front, it is 0.75 net carbs, right? But on the back, they must round it to a whole number. They can't put decimal points by law. So a tablespoon of heavy whipping cream has 0.413 carbs per serving. Mm-hmm. Therefore, legally on the label, they must put it has 0 carbs.
Right.
Depending on the macro calculator that you are using, no matter how much you multiply that by,
it's just going to stay at 0.
It's going to say it's 0.
0 times
and that is the problem
is
with
0.
most tracking ones. The worst one, the absolute worst one, do not use this if you're tracking your food, is MyFitnessPal.
Somebody just said, crap. That's the one I use.
Because MyFitnessPal allows anybody to upload info, and so do many of the other ones too. But MyFitnessPal lets anybody upload stuff in there, and you don't know which one is the real one.
Right.
So don't use that one. Chronometer is probably the best one, the most accurate one. But all heavy cream, and you can actually go, I thought I put it in the link down below, but I didn't, but I'll add it later. But if you go to the Department of Agriculture, it says that there is 0.413 carbs per tablespoon of heavy cream. And that's the minimum. And how do you can logically look at it this way. Heavy cream is not 100% fat.
No.
It's not 100% fat. It's got protein. It's got a milk protein in it, but it still has sugar. That's why it's sweet. It's still sweet in there. It's got whey in it, and the whey is a sugar. So it's better than milk. Like the worst milk you can actually drink is skim milk. That is the worst with the highest amount of sugar.
That makes me ticked off
because I was forced to drink it when I was a kid.
too, and it wasn't tasty when I drank it.
So heavy cream will always have 0.413, whereas half and half has just under a carb, which is why it says less than 1 on the label. But when you multiply it out, it has more than double of heavy cream when you multiply it out over things. So in your can of whipped cream, it takes 1 tablespoon of whipped cream to make of regular heavy cream to make 2 tablespoons of whipped cream. So you take a tablespoon.
There you go.
When you whip 1 tablespoon, although it's impossible to whip only 1 tablespoon. When they whip it, when I whip it, I mean they're
good.
using the nitrous to actually make it. You get less if you're doing it by hand whipping it because it's thicker. But when you add the gas into it, 1 tablespoon of heavy cream will make 2 tablespoons of whipped cream. And then they say a serving is 2 tablespoons, but it's 2 tablespoons of whipped cream, which is technically only 1 tablespoon of actual heavy cream that made it whipped cream. So it still falls back to 0.413 carbs per tablespoon. And believe me, Rachel a few weeks ago sat down and goes, holy crap, if I eat this whole can, it's like 70 carbs. And you don't eat a whole can anymore.
You ain't supposed to show my business.
But the point is, because even we fall into that trap.
Of course. Nobody is perfect.
Because let's be honest, who the heck is measuring 1 tablespoon out of a can?
Monsters. That's my thought. Monsters.
We talk too much.
Yes, we do.
Next one is from Elizabeth.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Hello from Ireland. Can we use Relight electrolytes for the gummies? I can get all other ingredients on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes, for our electrolyte gummies, you can use any one of the powdered electrolytes, Element, Relight, Salty, and you can even not put it in there at all, but it won't taste that good.
No.
Next one. Oh, was the other thing. Next one's from Allison.
Hi, Allison.
What is OMAD?
Oh, okay.
I want to find a video where you make the Keto Chow ice cream. I bought a Dash ice cream maker, but I want a creamy ice cream. I just signed up for the mystery box. My first one, big bag, is banana. I haven't tried it yet. Do you have a tutorial on how to use this product as coating or breading? Okay, what is OMAD? OMAD is eating 1 meal a day. Mm-hmm. So you basically eat 1 meal a day. I strongly suggest you don't do it on a regular basis, especially women, because it affects your hormone balance. But also because you can't possibly get all the nutrition that you need unless you can eat like Rachel.
You'll undereat your calories, and that will cause an issue with your metabolism moving forward.
Yeah.
You'll initially lose a ton of weight, but then your body will catch on to this, and then it will be problematic later on.
Let's put it this way. Considering that bare minimum for anybody is 100 grams of protein a day, and that's probably not really enough. That's your bare minimum. And the older you get, the more you need. For like a 60, 65-year-old man, you need to be eating somewhere probably between 150 to 200 grams of protein a day.
You're not getting,
but let's say you're a woman.
Because you're not getting all the protein once you get to
because
a
your body
age.
doesn't absorb it as much.
Yeah.
So let's say you're a woman and you need to eat at least 100. We'll round it up, 125 grams of protein in a day. And then you need to eat at least 125 grams of fat in a day. Can you, in one sitting, eat roughly 1 to 2 pounds of ground beef along with some eggs in one sitting?
It's going to cost.
It's a lot.
You're going to need to go to bed after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're talking about
it's uncomfortable.
You're talking about a pound of 80-20 ground beef and about 6 to 10 eggs.
Yeah. That's a lot.
And that's
a lot in a sitting for most people.
That's your bare minimum. So that's what OMAD is. Can you do we have a video on where to make Keto Chow ice cream? We have several. We have them on how to make it in a Ninja Creamy, how to make it in an ice cream maker, as well as how to make it in a Vitamix. If you want the creamiest version of Keto Chow ice cream, I'm going to tell you it's in a Ninja Creamy. The way you make it in a Vitamix is going to be more like Frosty from Wendy's. And then you can also make it in a regular ice cream maker like the Dash where you freeze the bowl. And it comes out pretty well. Do we have a tutorial for how to use it as a coating breading? Yeah, we have a coconut shrimp recipe.
Yes, if you look under coconut shrimp, I think we also did chicken battered in it.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Next one's from Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
So they both had, this was that chocolate spread we did the other day. They both have an outrageous amount of carbs. You glossed right over that. No, we didn't. If you're counting actual carbs, as you suggest, why would this be a good choice? And you mentioned subtracting sugar alcohols. That is net carbs. Again, I'm confused. We always will mention sugar because a lot of people do deduct sugar alcohols, including our friend Maria Emmerich.
Yeah.
The biggest reason that I suggest not deducting sugar alcohols, regardless of if your body is absorbing it or using it as energy, is because it helps you to moderate. if you are consuming something like that chocolate spread,
You don't want to eat a can of it.
like anything like with a lot of sugar alcohol, like let's say allulose, and it's got 20 grams of allulose in it, and it tastes delicious. As we discussed last week during our live, you don't have a shutoff valve for sweet tasting stuff.
No, you don't.
Along with that, all that sugar alcohol comes a lot of fat because
Yeah.
it's a treat. And now you're overeating it. And now the next thing you know, you've eaten like 500 calories, 1,000 calories of a treat, and then want to know why you can't eat the rest of your food because of nutrient density. Our friend Robert, in his program, I'm going to steal this from him, said, if you follow net carbs, you get net results. If you follow total carbs, you get total results.
It's very different. And yeah, I mean,
I'm going to steal that. Sorry, Robert.
We do talk about net carbs when it comes to product reviews, because we understand that even though we may advise that we think it's a bad idea,
some people don't listen to us.
Some people don't believe that for themselves. And if we truly say that everybody's welcome and we honor everybody's N equals 1 experiment of like doing, having a keto lifestyle for them, then we have to practice what we preach. And that is bring everybody the information that they could use. So
Right.
some people are watching a product review going, tell me the net carb story, whether or
Right.
not we follow that protocol or not.
Now, why do we recommend that product? Because it's clean ingredients. And guess what? Sometimes we include sugar alcohols. And I will tell you, count total carbs. Yes. Count. I would rather you eat 30 to 40 total carbs.
Right. Than
so
20
long
net.
as those total carbs are not things like Oreo cookies. I'm not telling you can eat 30 or 40 total carbs
Fit
going,
your
well, I'm
macros.
allowed to eat 2 Oreo cookies because that still puts me under 40 total. No, you still can't eat a bunch of sugar, wheat, pasta grains, things like that. I'm saying eat 30 or 40 total carbs because you've got broccoli, or maybe you're going to have one treat that's got 15 grams of sugar alcohols, which probably won't affect your glucose, but it's got clean ingredients. And we understand it. Sometimes we like that too.
Yeah.
Sometimes our friend Jonathan likes that. I mean, that's why we recommend it, because it's not giving you a bunch of fibers. I will always tell you, never deduct the fibers from a keto product. If you want to deduct sugar alcohols, and it's probably what I said in that video, I don't remember, go ahead, but don't deduct the fiber because there's too many weird fibers out there that didn't used to exist. Isomaltol oligosaccharides, which is also known as IMO fiber, is now classified as soluble corn fiber. Your body does digest that, and it was shown when Quest used to use that in their products, how it would jack everybody up, and then they stopped putting it in there.
Right.
Now a company can use that and not tell you they're using it, because all they got to do is write soluble corn fiber.
You have to, I'm telling you, you have to have a degree in like food label wording.
Or
it's like
just count it all.
Right. You either count it all or you go get the Rosetta Stone for nutrition.
Yep.
And try to learn that language.
2 left, real quick, because we're late. This was from Sean. I thought it was
Hey,
funny.
Sean.
For all the people who worry about wasting food, here's something to think about. Technically, all the money you've ever spent on food's been flushed down the toilet.
That is so true. Whether it was keto or not,
Yep.
I haven't saved a bit of it. Even, I mean, the Oreo cookies from the past, the beef I ate last week, like it's all gone now.
Okay, so we have a new little, we're going to end Keto Beyond the Couch. I'm going to try to, unless all of a sudden, like
Everything is
everything
positive.
is personal.
Everything is awesome.
We're going to end every week on the mean comment of the week.
Oh my gracious.
We will never use the person's name.
No.
So don't intentionally write a mean comment, because I'm never going to use your
You're
name.
not going to get credit for it.
You're not going to get credit. But we've talked about, like, should we do a mean comment?
there
Just
a
reading
funny-
So here's how I'm going to take it back. I'm going to read what I find to be a mean comment, and we're going to do it every week. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Here's this week's.
Okay.
The mean comment of the week. Can you please practice pronouncing keto, for God's sake? It's not keto. It's, please, seriously. You have a channel with keto in it.
Get your stuff
and
together.
you cannot even say keto correctly. Thanks. It drives me nuts.
My thought is, this is really the most upsetting thing about me. I'm wearing cow ears. Like, how about dress like an adult, Rachel? How about get your act together, Joe?
So can I respond to this comment?
I mean, if you can do it constructively.
How about this?
I can't help an accent.
How about,
Keto.
I'm sorry that you don't like our accent.
Keto.
I love the way Rachel says cement.
Hey.
How do you say it?
Cement.
Cement, right?
Shut up, Meg.
Pecan. Everybody, we have accents.
We have
sorry
Copans Road.
you don't like our accent.
Yeah.
But how about this? I promise that we will practice saying keto instead of keto.
Keto.
I will practice that if you can begin practicing having proper manners and not just typing and insulting comments.
Ooh.
How's that?
Oh my gosh, that seems harsh. I know they just probably, I know I'm annoying. That's not news.
Okay, let's get into the comments.
For heaven's sake, you have a keto channel. You should say keto.
Karen said, hello, all organ meat talk so early in the morning. Yuck, but I wouldn't miss it.
Glad you're here, Karen. I get it.
Trish said, I like liverwurst, but not much other organ meat, but I'm pretty sure I'm biased.
You're
now,
not.
If you're like us and you don't, that is a good alternative.
Yes.
I mean, now, some liverwurst, a lot of liverwurst does have sugar in there, but it's at least you're getting the liver. And it's not horrible.
The liver mixed with cream cheese really does.
Liverwurst.
It's not the worst. It helps it be better. The liver better instead of the liverwurst.
Said, my parents made us eat liver when we were little kids. So, no, that's me too. So, my mom made us eat liver.
He won't eat
liver
tuna
on
fish.
Onions. Liver and tuna fish for that because I was forced to eat it and it made me develop.
You associate it with almost like you got to.
John said, I cook liver in butter and garlic after soaking it in milk for a couple of days, and it's really good. Unlike what I remember eating when I was a kid.
My mother associates eating liver with her mother caring for her because my grandmother was like, you need to eat this, Ariane. And so she would make it because mommy would be like, I don't want to make it in my house. It's going to stink up the house. And so every Tuesday afternoon, my mother used to drop us off at school and then she would go and visit with her mother while my grandfather was working. He was a plasterer. So that's what they would do. And they'd have a little afternoon together and Nanny would cook mommy liver so that she'd get it, but she wouldn't have to cook it in her house. And so mommy still associates liver with her mother taking care of her. So it's easier for her to eat it for that reason.
Serena said, I was so proud of you guys on the last
Serena.
episode. Jesse said, I need some advice. The lady I buy my eggs off of just gave me a couple of jars of homemade jam and jelly.
Oh.
They're made with sugar and I hate to just throw them out because of the work she put into it.
Well, the only thing, I think you just honor it as thank you for this gift. And then I put it into the trash like I would a homemade card. Yeah. Or a card that somebody get. If you are not somebody that saves every birthday card that you get or the wrapping paper that was really nicely done for you, then I would say I would use it as that. That was a love note from your friend to you saying, I just want you to know that I care about you. And I've put thought and effort into this, but I guarantee you this person is big batch cooking this. And so you're not the only person. So the batch that she's making is being honored by other people in her life. And you can just acknowledge it as the gift of goodwill that it is. Because I can be honest, I don't save every card I get, even though somebody took the time to shop for it. They thought about it. Maybe
you don't save all those love notes I gave you when we were dating?
No, I don't. I didn't. I'm sorry. But there's only so much bandwidth we have in this home to store things. I used to save all of the kids homework assignments.
Yeah, that's all in the attic. That's got to go.
That's got to
We've got 8 totes of every drawing that Caleb made from before we were married.
Yes.
We're not saving that.
I can't save all that. So you just honor it and say thank you so much. And you just, you can throw that in the garbage and not be like, well, they gave me a bottle of something that's really going to frustrate my journey. And I know your kiddos don't need it either. So I would just honor it for that moment of friendship.
Why do I still have my wedding album for my first wife?
Right? Why?
Like, why am I saving that? Maybe I'll ask the boys, do you want this? If not, I'm throwing it out.
And I think and it is. There's a lot of stuff after divorce that you kind of have to think of, like, am I keeping this because the kids will want to show their children and grandchildren this is your lineage, and like
they don't even really have a memory of us together.
But it's honestly for just historical record. Right.
So with the jam thing, yeah, it's how convicted are you that nobody in your life should be eating sugar?
You know what
And that's what I would say. And if you are convicted like we are, like we will never give Peyton sugar, throw it out.
Yeah.
And go with it that way.
And if it's gonna be, if you're like, this is going to be this is going to be hard for me. If I start eating this is going to make me sick. This is not going to help me make keto easier for my life.
Yeah. Trish said, this was with the soda thing, an extra $150 a month would look like brisket, tenderloin, and bacon.
Right? Yes, it does.
Jesse said, you want to justify eating meat? Go to McDonald's and order a couple of value meals, and you'll realize those strip steaks at $10.99 a pound is not so bad.
Amen. And much more filling, right?
Again, I recently saw 4 Big Mac meals in California is over $80.
That's crazy talk right there.
Right. Jesse said, I read that one. So Aaron said, does anyone else remember when soda was mostly sold in cases of 24 for $5 on sale? I think they changed to selling mostly 12 packs so people won't notice the higher price.
You're absolutely right. I can remember every Sunday after church, we would go to Burger King. And Mommy would be like, I am not cooking. And a lot of times we would get their Whopper. This is a Whopper, mind you. It used to be 5 Whoppers for $5.
Yep.
And that's what our family would eat. That would be our lunch for the day.
We did it with our kids. I mean, I regret it now. We didn't know. But remember, it used to be half the price to buy 20-piece chicken nuggets than it was to buy the 5-piece.
Yeah. Well,
remember we used to go like, hey, we're going camping, kids. Everybody gets a 20-pack of chicken nuggets.
It's not just that.
Because it was like $4.
But our children, we used to get 29-cent hamburgers and 39-cent cheeseburgers.
Oh, and when they did those on Mondays, and we did that in McDonald's.
But you think that.
Remember, we did it at Disney. We literally left Disney and came back, and each kid got 10 cheeseburgers.
You could leverage.
We had no idea what we were doing.
But I'm saying you could leverage like McDonald's if you could go back to 4 for $1 hamburger patties. A 4 for $1 hamburger patty from like a McDonald's, like, just throw the bread off. I could totally see that. You could do that. That'd make it cheap still. But now, no, like the prices of fast food has gone up so crazily that you really got to go back to the grocery store.
Yep. So Rita said, non-scale victory this week. Our store managers bought pizza for the associates. I took 2 slices, ate them without the crust. It felt strange, but I did it.
Risa, that is awesome. And, don't feel bad that you felt a little weird doing it differently. It was weird for us when we scraped off toppings. Like, I had to look to myself and say, like, am I wasting food? Like, that's a hard thing, especially if you were like me and grew up dirt poor, that anything where you're, like, discarding something, you're like, we were raised in kind of like that post-World War II mentality of like, you eat everything. Like you used to say, your grandfather would say, if there was any type of like gravy or something left on your plate, he'd hand you a piece of bread for you to sop that up so that nothing went to waste.
There was not to be a speck left because he went through the Depression.
So thinking that like, this is a waste that I'm discarding the pizza crust. It's still hard from that perspective, but what I have to look at is what I'm going to be throwing out and discarding has no nutritional value to me. There is no nutrient content to this, and that's why I can discard it. Just like it has the same nutritional value to me as the wrapper. I don't eat the McDonald's wrapper, so it's easy for me to throw out the wrapper and also the bread that has no nutritional benefit to my life. It's kind of how I see it.
So Jesse said, I kind of followed what Jonathan suggested. I added some healthy carbs back to my diet, and I was blown away. My ketones did go up.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. John said, I'm on CGM day 2, and it's making me sad and confused. It rarely goes below 100 and jumps 10 to 20 points just from walking to the bathroom. That's normal.
That is normal.
Good news, it hasn't really gone outside of the normal range. That's perfect. Okay, also remember that many times with the CGM, because of its interstitial fluid, it will read higher than your blood glucose.
Like a stick.
So what you can do is just get an idea. I'll test it 2 or 3 times a day, almost like it's a calibration in my head. That's the difference between like the Freestyle and the Dexcom. The Dexcom, you can actually go in the app and say, like, it'll tell you, like, after 12 hours, you can go and test your blood glucose, tell the app what your blood glucose is, and then it makes that adjustment for you. So if the reading is showing 100, but your blood glucose is 80, it has you do it a few times, and then it'll display your glucose as 80 because it knows the difference. You can't do that with the Freestyle Libre, so you'll have to make that calculation in your head sometimes, but what you're looking for is flat line. Anytime you do anything, it's going to go up and down, but 10 or 20 points is not a lot.
And that's a good thing. So I would say, like, if you're...
It's not going to be a flat line.
But I think that that's a good... If your body's responding to movement, give it more movement. It's going to respond in a good, positive way as well. That's not a negative. That's a good thing.
Exposing Darkness said, I was definitely impressed with the number of 2KK supporters on the live stream.
You guys just are amazing.
It was funny because I actually was texting with Todd and Tony the other day, and they were just talking about how amazing you guys are. And, you know, please be nice. You know,
of course you are.
You know, but yeah. There was somebody who commented on our video, and I actually deleted it, and I don't think they weren't one of ours.
No.
And as a matter of fact, Tony had messaged me about it, and I was like, listen, I know our subscribers. I know the names. If you're a regular subscriber, and that ain't one of them.
No.
But they were being really, really hateful.
Yeah.
And I mean, hateful towards the coaches. There's things that you haven't seen. There's reasons that we didn't know. There's reasons we didn't know how the immunity idol gets played or why or when, and you will find that out in coming episodes. I will tell you that they are listening to you guys.
Yes, they are.
As far as
moving
editing
forward.
And moving forward. They are paying attention to the comments. And like I've given them suggestions, and they said moving forward as the episodes are finished editing, because remember, these are not Hollywood producers.
No.
Right? They're 2 guys like us, 2 idiots who said, hey, this would be kind of cool.
And it's just like...
and they've done a great job.
And it's just like when we are editing a video, like we take in all of our content and we have to like package it by editing the video... you're getting the perspective of like newbies. We're not classically trained
and they're not
directors.
They're not making money off of
this is just money going out the door.
This was a hobby.
Yeah,
right?
This is a hobby.
John said, 2 Crazy Ketos, bored of your menu, do the wheel. Oh, don't suggest that.
Yes, Wheel of Misfortune.
We can do that.
Let's do Wheel of Misfortune.
Can you do a giveaway for cow ears? What cow ears?
Oh, my cow ears.
Oh.
I think we should. I will say, while I'm thinking of it, I just thought of variety, and that reminded me of Keto Brick. Keto Brick came out. They re-released their Macadamia Madness Keto Brick yesterday. Now, I didn't check in to see if there's still any more available today or if they sold out yesterday. But I will say, if you're interested, that is a delicious keto brick. It's really, really good. And if you use our link, you get 12 and the code 2
You gotta
crazy
use the code
ketos.
2 Crazy Ketos.
This is one of those rare things where it's like the link and code together. Then you'll get $12 off multiple bricks.
Your first order.
Yeah. So just something to think about.
We'll end with Lori's response to the nasty
Lori.
comment. Said, proper pronunciation of keto. Chris and Dr. Berry and 95% of the keto people say keto.
Right.
Do not change. We have no intentions of changing.
I appreciate that, Lori.
But
thank you. I think
just,
that's a good response.
Listen, I think it's funny, and rather than doing a whole video of reading the comments, it's a good way to take it back. And like some of them are just ridiculous. Like that is like, if you're gonna be hateful, like that's all you've got.
I think that if you are like, I would like to solve the world's ills, I would like to focus my attention on like transforming the way we do things, I think that I would turn my attention to helping eradicate homelessness, help like children's
Stop
issues.
being logical.
I think that you should focus on like real problems within our civilization and society.
We're going to get off. Thank you so much for joining us. Once we have confirmation of the big thing that's happening with Two Crazy Ketos,
Please pray. Just
we
pray,
will
y'all.
let everybody in our Meatheads group know by going live. If you want to support us financially on our Mighty Networks, join Mighty Networks for free. Two Crazy. It's members.twocrazyketos.com, and then over on the left-hand side where it says groups, you'll see the different supporter levels. But you can join if you're not in there. Go join for free just to hang out in our
just to
community.
hang out in the public group.
We will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
We
Bye.
love you guys.